Welcome back to Court Climbs. Today I'm going to give you my tips and advice for taking a climbing trip to the Red River Gorge. Just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from, I have climbed at the Red 7 times over the course of 2 years. So I'm not a complete beginner, but I'm also not a seasoned trad dad that knows all of the secret spots. This video will cover the basics to climbing at the Red, including my recommendations for camping, food, climbing gear, weather, and crag and route recommendations. The Red River Gorge is located near Slade, Kentucky, and is one of the most amazing places to climb. Not only are there a variety of quality crags, there's just something about the Red that makes you feel a certain type of way. It's as if time slows down a bit, the noise of the outside world is muffled for a moment, and life is simple and good. Let's talk about camping. There are plenty of places to camp at the Red, and each of them have a different vibe. We have stayed at 3 different campgrounds, and there have been good and bad about each. The classic place for climbers to camp is behind Miguel's, a pizza place located right in the middle of it all. It costs $4 a night to camp per person, and is tent and van camping only. You can pay for camping online. Miguel's is always popular and is a climbers-only campground, so if you're looking to meet and hang out with other climbers in a lively atmosphere, this is the place for you. Not only will you be right next to pizza after a long day of climbing, you'll also have access to paid showers with hot water, a quality climbing shop full of gear and Red River Gorge merch, a bathroom with running water within walking distance, and plenty of tables to sit outside and play games or chat about the day's climbs. One thing to point out about Miguel's is that it is a bit of a party campground, so staying there means people will likely be talking and playing music during late hours of the night. You also can't have fires in your own camping area at Miguel's. There's just one communal fire pit. If those are things that bug you, I would suggest thinking about staying at Daniel Boone or Land of the Arches. Daniel Boone is located behind the Daniel Boone Coffee Shop and is probably the most quiet and primitive campground of the 3. It costs $3 per night per person, although their site says you can ask about a weekly discount. There is RV camping available as well. As far as tent sites at this campground, there's not any amenities besides a few tables, a fire pit, and a water spigot. The campground is right down near the river, and the time we stayed there and the few times our friends have stayed there, it has been really mellow, with only a few other campers around. You can pay for camping at the coffee shop, which is right up the hill, and that is also your only source of man-made bathrooms while you are there. They are closed during the night, so if you don't like doing your business out in the good old wilderness, this campground might not be for you. The coffee shop gets very busy in the mornings, so if you're planning on paying for camping before you leave to go climb for the day, make sure to allow yourself enough time. Our favorite campground at the Red is Land of the Arches. Land of the Arches is a good mix between lively and bustling with climbers, while also giving you the sense of peace and calmness associated with being outdoors. Land of the Arches costs $8 per night per person and is primarily tent and van camping. There are fire pits and tables, as well as an outdoor covered pavilion with sinks, tables, cooking spaces, complete with a hangboard. They have bathrooms with free hot showers and a covered inside hangar space with tables and electrical plugins. There are 2 sections to Land of the Arches. One is up on top of the hill near all of the amenities, and the other is down the hill. It is kind of known that down the hill is where the more rowdy campers stay, and up the hill is where the people that want a little bit more quiet stay. One thing to note is that Land of the Arches has a strict no-dog policy. As far as food goes, Miguel's Pizza is a staple of a climbing trip to the Red. Another popular Red River Gorge special item is Ale 8, a ginger ale-like soft drink that is very popular and somewhat specific to the area, although you can find it in other places. To be completely honest, we usually bring most of our own food, so things like curry from a bag, pickles, and granola bars are what I associate with the Red. When I asked in online forums for the best food places in the Red, a few places that stood out in the comments were Rock House and Skybridge Station for food, The Brick for coffee, and Hops for food and beer. Let's talk climbing gear. I can't speak to trad climbing or multi-pitch gear, But as far as single pitch sport climbing gear, this is what we bring. Our rope is a 70-meter dynamic rope that has been sufficient for all of the climbs we've done in the red, the tallest being a 90-foot route. We also bring a tarp to lay down under our rope so that it doesn't get dirty. We have 12 quick draws, which I'd recommend as the minimum amount if you're wanting to climb anything without having to skip draws, which is not something good to be doing. I'd say you could climb most things in the red with only 8 to 10 draws, especially if you're willing to skip out on some of the really tall routes. Another piece of gear to bring is a clip stick. Clip sticks are a great way to make sure that first bolt is clipped and add another layer of safety to your climbs. If you're climbing in Muir Valley, they will have Loner Super clip sticks that you can use and return after you're done climbing. You will also need cleaning gear, which is simply a personal anchor system and 3 locking carabiners. Don't forget your harness, shoes, belay device, and chalk. The weather at the red is hot and humid in the summertime, crisp and cool in the fall, and rainy in the spring. Weather can play a huge part in determining when and where to climb for the day. Some crags are going to be best climbed during the morning or night when the sun isn't blazing down. When it's raining, the best thing to do is to find overhung crags that stay dry even in heavy rain. We climbed an entire weekend full of rain and still managed to have a lot of fun despite the weather. So if you have a trip planned and the forecast says that it's going to rain, don't freak out. There's still plenty of places to climb. As far as climbing areas go, the Mountain Project app or website is going to be your best friend. Mountain Project will tell you information about climbing areas, like directions and routes. Download the Mountain Project app and bookmark the Red River Gorge so you can access it easily before you get there. Service in the red isn't always that great, so don't wait till you get there to try to download it. There are so many places to climb in the red, it's insane, with over 1,700 sport routes. The area is divided into 8 sections, including the Bald Rock Fork Recreational Preserve, or BRRP, the Cathedral Domain, Miller's Fork, Muir Valley, Natural Bridge Region, Northern Gorge, Pendergrass Murray Recreational Preserve, or PMRP, and the Southern Region Crags. It's hard for me to give recommendations on where exactly you should climb without knowing your preferences or what grades you climb. Honestly, no matter where you go in the red, it's likely that you will have a great time climbing. But based on my experiences at the red, here are some areas I really enjoyed. My favorite place to climb that I've been to so far at the red is Chocolate Factory in the BRRP. One thing to note is that parking is free, but if you have a small car, you might want to park at the top parking lot and walk down because the road can get kind of bad. Chocolate Factory features 81 sport routes. I like this area because there are a lot of 80-foot plus routes in the 510 range. My favorite route is EBGB, a 90-foot 510A. We have also spent a lot of time in Muir Valley. Muir Valley is very well maintained, with clear signage and little plates in the rock to tell you the route names and grades. This is likely due to the $10 parking fee per car per day, which can be paid with either cash or card. To climb in Muir, make sure you fill out a waiver, which can be done in a few minutes online. A classic spot to climb in Muir is Bruise Brothers because it has a good variety of 5'7" to 5'11" routes that are pretty tall. It is also overhung, so it can be climbed in the rain. Another area I like in Muir Valley is Sunnyside. Sunnyside has a 510B called Machete that is literally 5'8" climbing until you get to a double roof sort of section that is an interesting challenge. Another route at Sunnyside that's cool is Kokopelli's Dream, which is this 5'9" that goes up a flake that kind of looks like the shape of Texas. We climbed the arete and made it mandatory to take a photo straddling the arete and yelling, "Riding Texas." We spent some time climbing in Miller's Fork at the Chaos area. A route I really liked was a 510A called Lithuanian Princess. It started on a big wobbly cairn of stacked rocks and required quite a bit of upper body strength to pull yourself up and onto the route. The Northern Gorge has a wall called Military Wall that features a couple of really nice 5'9" routes called Moonbeam and Sunshine, as well as a 510C called In the Light that really pushed Jed and I to our limits. I remember first hearing about this magical place 6 months into my climbing journey from a climber when I lived back in Southern California. This particular climber was from New Hampshire and was telling me how she would routinely make the 13-hour drive from her house to the Red on weekends to go climb. I remember being shocked at just how willing she was to make such a long drive to go climb. Now, a few years later, and a few trips to the Red, I understand the pull. I can't wait for you to understand it too. I hope this video is helpful to anyone looking to take a trip down to climb at the Red River Gorge. If you have any additional suggestions or questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, stay hyped.